When you ask your husband to do something around the house, maybe take the bins out or cut the grass, how many times does it take to ask him and to get it done? Do you get the big sigh or the heavy stomping up the stairs? Do you get any of those? And when you do get the heavy sigh and you get the eye roll and all the rest of it, you're not looking at your husband anymore. You're looking at a 14-year-old petulant teenager with his baseball cap round the wrong way. It does actually drive me crackers. Over the years, my husband has grown out of that, and it doesn't happen very much these days, thankfully. But what if it happens on a weekly basis? What happens if you're forever having to ask your husband to do something, knowing that you are going to have to ask time and time and time again, and it still won't get done? What do? We're going to find a way to combat it at source. We're going to apply logic and see how we get on. Here is the trap. If he's acting like a petulant teenager, then you start acting like a mother. And honestly, that is really not a good dynamic to have in any relationship, let alone when you're 60-odd. I mean, really, I don't want to confiscate his iPad or iPhone or his Sudoku crossword puzzle book or even sit him on the naughty step. I just don't want to do that. You know, my husband's 85 and he just looks stupid. However, something has to give. So what I'm going to do is give you a few lines that you can learn off by heart so that when he does something like this, you've got them to hand. Because we all need a good one-liner every so often just to get rid of the nonsense in our marriage. When he does the sigh or he tuts and says that you're nagging, and that's the last time I'm going to use that particular word because I hate it. When he does that, why don't you say, darling, that heavy sigh suggests you're going through puberty again. Shall I wait until you're an adult before we discuss the dishwasher? See how that lands. Or, when he's still tutting and huffing, you could give him the logical trap. Darling, a logical man will see a full bin and empty it. A teenager waits to be told and then he grumbles about it. Which one are you going to be today? Or, there's nothing more unattractive than a man sulking over a vacuum cleaner. It's not rebellious. It's just deeply unattractive. Sometimes I think cutting through the crap and getting straight to the point with a little bit of humour can make him see how ridiculous he is. You could also say, I retired from mothering over 20 years ago, so why does it feel like I've been hired to raise a 65-year-old man now? Or there's this problem. You raised your children, they left home, that job is done. The conflict is that when he ignores your requests, he's forcing you back into a job that you've already just left. And it's deeply unattractive. You're not his mother. What you can say to him is, I love you very much, but I am not, and I don't intend to be, your mother. A mother will teach a child. A wife expects that her partner will know how to dress himself and to put things away. There is a difference. And remember, if this man is your lover, there is something deeply unattractive when he expects you to mother him. Who wants that? You could ask him, do you want a manager or a wife? Because a manager will give you a twice-weekly performance review. A wife will sit down and watch the film with you. You can't have both at the same time. When he says stop repeating yourself, the issue is that you have to keep on repeating the request because he's ignoring it. The repetition isn't a malfunction in you. It's a lack of action by him. Complete the task and the repetition will stop. Retirement renders any contracts that you have between you and your husband null and void. In the old deal, it might have been that he went out to work and you stayed at home and kept house. His dinner was on the table when he came in from work. But now he's retired and he sits all day in his chair in front of the television and does nothing and doesn't help around the house. It's time that we ripped up those contracts and renegotiated a new one, I think. I would say when the paycheck stops, the housewife contract expires and we renegotiate. You could sit down and say, we're both pensioners now. We split the leisure and we also split the labour. If he wants peace, why don't you say that every time he ignores your request, he creates tension in the room, and that is no good to anybody. It doesn't make for a happy marriage, and it certainly doesn't make for a peaceful, happy, contented retirement. Wouldn't it be far better if he just did the task, the same as you did yours, and remind him, if he went to work every single day of the week and he had a person at work that sat in his chair all day long watching YouTube videos on his computer, and every time your husband went up to him and asked him to do something and he'd say, yes, I'll do it in a minute, or how would he feel? How would he feel if that went on day in, day out? And how would that affect him when he went to work? Remind him that most of these tasks only take about 2 or 3 minutes. That's hardly anything at all. But when he doesn't do them, and when he forces you to ask him repeatedly, that creates terrible tension in the house. It's no good you saying, well, I don't know how to do it, because if you don't know how to do it, say so, and then we will show you. There's no point in you weaponizing failure to get yourself out of any task. When I do the cooking, or maybe even the reheating, or shall we say when I prepare a meal in whatever fashion it is, because you know I don't like cooking, when I do that, my husband clears the kitchen up afterwards. And that is the rule. So I do the first bit, he does the second. Tell him that you don't want a roommate. You don't want somebody that you have to mother. You want a partner that you can do things with. So if you do things the first time, then you will have a wife and a lover. If you don't do things until the 10th time, then you'll have a warden. And who wants that? You choose who you want to live with and see what he says. Here are some one-liners that you could use. The quickest way for you to get back to your television program is to pick up the towel. It's not magic, it's logistics. Or, peace is not the absence of your wife talking. Peace is the absence of the reasons why she needs to ask. Or, you want a quiet life? Wonderful. Price of admission is emptying the dishwasher without a written request. Or you could say, think of it as an investment. 5 minutes of effort now returns 5 hours of a happy wife. The interest rates are excellent. Explain to him that waiting for the 10th request destroys your relationship. YouTube thinks you'll enjoy this video next. And if you wouldn't mind pressing the like button or sharing, that would be wonderful. And if you have been, thanks a lot for watching. Lots of love. Bye-bye.